With the NFL draft coming up, the Browns are rushing to adjust everything and make good choices, but the question on most fans' minds is, do the Browns still have a chance? Can something good come out of this season? What do you think about it? Let us know in the comments what you think. Be sure to hit the like button, and I'll keep you well informed. Listen up, because this is a big week for the franchise. With the NFL draft coming up, the Browns are bringing in 4 important prospects for their top 30 visits, and these aren't just any players. These are the guys who could define the future of this team. The front office is doing its final round of evaluations, and by the end of this week, we should have a much clearer picture of where Cleveland is leaning with the number 2 pick. So, here we go. The Browns are getting Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders, Miami quarterback Cam Ward, Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter, and Colorado two-way star Travis Hunter. These are the names Browns fans should pay close attention to because one of them could be the next face of the franchise. Starting with Shedeur Sanders. This will be the 3rd time the Browns have met with him. They sat down with him at the East-West Shrine Bowl, had an official interview at the NFL Combine, and now he's coming to Berea. That's a lot of attention for a player some analysts believe could be the best quarterback in this class. And it's not just his skills. Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski have praised his poise, intelligence, and leadership. He was mentored by his Hall of Fame father, Deion Sanders, and worked with former Browns head coach Pat Shurmur. The Browns clearly like him, but is he their guy at number 2? Then there's Cam Ward. Right now, he's widely viewed as the top quarterback in this draft, and if the Titans don't take him at number 1, the Browns might have their decision made for them. Ward's journey has been unique. Coming from Washington State, he's had to prove himself every step of the way, and according to Stefanski, his football IQ is off the charts. The Browns are impressed with how he processes the game, his ability to read defenses, and his leadership qualities. If Cleveland is serious about Ward, they might have to be ready to fend off other teams looking to trade up. But let's not forget about Abdul Carter. Despite a recent stress fracture in his foot, Carter is still on the Browns' radar. Some experts believe he's the most talented player in this draft class, and Cleveland hasn't backed away despite his injury concerns. He's a dominant force on defense, and the idea of pairing him with Myles Garrett is something that has the front office intrigued. Stefanski has spoken highly of him, and if the Browns decide to build their future around an elite defense instead of a quarterback, Carter could be the pick. And then there's Travis Hunter, the wild card in all of this. He's a true unicorn, a player who wants to be a full-time two-way player in the NFL. The Browns see him primarily as a receiver, but Stefanski isn't ruling out using him on defense as well. Berry and Stefanski both acknowledge that he's a special talent, someone who could redefine what's possible in the NFL. If Cleveland wants a playmaker who can impact both sides of the ball, Hunter is the guy. Now here's where it gets interesting. The Browns hold the number 2 pick, but what if they trade down? What if another team jumps ahead of them to grab Ward or Sanders? What if Berry believes the smartest move is to load up on picks and build depth across the roster? There are so many possibilities, and the Browns are keeping all their options open. By the end of this week, the front office will have a much better understanding of these 4 prospects. They'll have spent time with them, gone through medical evaluations, and continued their deep dive into who fits best in Cleveland. So now I want to hear from you, Browns fans. If you were Andrew Berry, who would you take at number 2? Do you go all in on a quarterback with Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward? Or do you build up the defense with Abdul Carter? Maybe you take a chance on the most unique player in the draft, Travis Hunter. Let me know in the comments. You've heard the rumors, the speculation, and now it's time to get real. Are the Browns locked in on taking a quarterback at number 2 overall? According to Rich Eisen, the answer is 100% yes. But is it really that simple? If you're a fan of the movie Draft Day, you probably remember the famous line, "Vontae Mack, no matter what." And right now, it seems like the Browns might be taking that same approach. Except this time, the message on the sticky note could read, "Quarterback. No matter what." We know the Browns are bringing in Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward for their top 30 visits. These guys have been at the center of speculation, and with the New York Giants reportedly looking to trade up with the Titans for the number 1 pick, Cleveland might be left choosing whichever QB remains on the board. That could be Sanders. It could be Ward. But are the Browns really willing to take whoever's left? Or do they have a true preference? This is where things get interesting. Teams don't just stack players on a board based on talent alone. It's about fit, personality, medical history, scheme, and much more. So while some draft experts rank Ward and Sanders back-to-back, the reality inside the Browns' war room might look a whole lot different. They could have a clear gap between these two QBs. And if that's the case, would they make the aggressive move to trade up? Tony Rizzo from ESPN Cleveland certainly thinks they should. He believes that if the Browns prefer Ward over Sanders, they absolutely need to trade up to number 1 and make sure they get their guy. It's a bold take, but does it make sense? Let's break it down. The Tennessee Titans, who currently hold the number 1 pick, are reportedly open to moving down. That means Cleveland could strike a deal to leapfrog the Giants and guarantee they land the quarterback they want. But it won't come cheap. Moving up one spot in the draft usually costs a significant amount of capital, possibly future first-round picks, second-rounders, or even key players. The Browns would have to decide if Ward is worth that price tag. On the flip side, if Cleveland stays put at number 2, they'll still get a quarterback, just maybe not the one they prefer. If the Giants make a move for Ward, the Browns would be left with Sanders. That's not necessarily a bad thing. He's an elite prospect with great poise, accuracy, and a Hall of Fame father in Deion Sanders mentoring him. But if the Browns truly believe Ward is the better fit for their offense, should they take the risk of sitting back and hoping he falls to them? Then there's the wild card factor. What if the Browns aren't actually sold on either of them? Neither Ward nor Sanders is considered a surefire superstar at the next level. Both have question marks. So if Cleveland has doubts, do they trade down instead? Could they pass on quarterback altogether and take a top defensive player like Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter? It's unlikely given the QB need, but it's a scenario that can't be ruled out. One more layer to this conversation is the Myles Garrett trade saga. If, and that's a big if, the Browns decide to make a blockbuster move and part ways with Garrett for a king's ransom, that could shake up their entire draft strategy. More picks would mean more flexibility. Could they use those assets to move up even higher, or go after a veteran QB in a trade instead? At the end of the day, this draft could define the Browns' future for years to come. If they take the right quarterback, they could be looking at a franchise leader for the next decade. If they miss, it could set them back for years. No pressure, right? So, Browns fans, now it's your turn. Should Cleveland stick with the no? 2 pick and take whichever quarterback is left? Should they be aggressive and move up for their guy? Or do you think they should take a completely different approach? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, and don't forget to subscribe for more Browns content. Go Browns!